Hey all, and welcome back to Arcade Spirits. I'm Agent of Mischief. Let's jump into it. Let's see. Exhibit Hall B. It very much resembles Exhibit Hall A, where I started my day. Industry types, dealers, swag, crowds. There's definitely more actual arcade games here, as local places have set up pop-up arcades all over the place. It's hard to notice the smaller displays with the giant Garish Deco's Palace logo eating up the center. I managed to crawl my way around the edges to find. Well, no, pretty much everyone else in the crew, save for Francine. Teo and Ashley are still off hanging out with their respective communities. I've got some time, maybe I can bend someone's ear meanwhile. Let's see, what's everyone doing right now? Gavin's reading the news board out of his mind, and he's fixing a busted Galaga. She could use a break. Percy's idly playing around with Nibbler. Queen Bee's in between matches in her tournament. Let's check on Percy. Percy's poking his way around the mazes of Nibbler, but without the gusto he normally reserves for Moopy. Hey, Percy.
Hello.
Hello there, Raven. Can I help you with something? Actually, right now I'm thinking of taking a break from being the Funplex Rising Hypes person. You want to talk or something? I mean, if you're not busy. I doubt I'm anywhere near close to $1 billion on Nibbler, so I might as well step away for a bit, chat a spot, then maybe go play some other games. Certainly, let's depart. Two of us find a semi-quiet spot between two display booths, take a breather from all the digital hustle and bustle of the arcade scene. Anyway, Nibbler's no Moopy, and lacks the depth of a good Moopy run in my humble opinion. Seriously, why Mr. Moopy's Magic Maze? Why not? Because there's easier high scores out there to knock over. I looked it up on Twin Galaxies last night. That score stood for 30 years. And that's a challenge, isn't it? But I suppose it's not entirely the challenge that appeals to me. It's, well, how to put this? It's personal. If you don't want to talk about it, I suppose I've teased it enough. We may not know each other well enough to be besties, yes, but it's a tale worth telling.
Put simply, Moopy is... It was my little sister's favourite game. Dear little Stella. My sister was a child prodigy. A leap ahead of the curve in every respect. Sharpest mind. Cleverest wit. The warmest heart.
And mazes. Oh, how she loved mazes. She had a gift for pattern recognition and optimization. A gift and a passion. It thrilled her to no end. Take on a mental challenge and defeat it soundly. Got her books and books filled with mazes and puzzles, and she'd clear one of them every day. Always wanted more to fill her dreary hours, but only so many mazes. Solved the problem. I got her a handheld game console and a copy of Mr. Moopy's Magic Maze. Honestly, at the time I knew next to nothing of video games. A friend of mine in an arithmetic class suggested it. I took every scrap of pocket change I could muster buying that game for her. My family had next to no money, you see. A nobody family in a nothing village. Well, I suppose you can relate, yes? I can relate, yes. I've struggled, yes, but kept level. Ever since leaving home, I've been in and out of jobs, rarely able to contribute to co-renting an apartment. It's been difficult, but I've kept things level. Nobody likes to be defined by work, not even working in an arcade. Do what you love. Love what you do, yes, by all means. But having goals, dreams, that's just as important. That's one reason I'm here at Max. The harder I push the Funplex, the more it'll soar. That's my passion. A worthy one, right? Indeed. So the game helped feed my sister's need for greater and greater challenges. That's the key to Mr. Moopy, you see. It generates pseudo-random mazes. Pseudo as opposed to, well, it's early 1980. Bleep! Technology. Depending on your path through the mazes, you can precede the randomness. It's part of the challenge, playing the game of the game. And Stella could play the game of the game like no other. Better than I could, even. And she'd no doubt have beaten the high score by now, her name up in lights as a champion to unseat a 30-year legacy. And that's why I'm a maniac for Mr. Moopy. I would for him to continue, but nope, that's it. I think I understand, though. Stella can't be the scorer herself, not anymore. You keep using the past tense when describing your sister. I'm sorry for your loss, Percy. I'm sure she was every bit as bright and clever and warm as you described. I wish I could have met her. Thank you, Raven. Her loss, it certainly left a hole in the world. When she passed a few years ago, all her potential, all her brilliance, gone. Percy sighs deeply, letting the memory wash over him, and pass.
If not for the heart condition, despite everything we tried, everything I did. In the end, it was simply too much. And now, Mr. Moopy's my connection to Stella. She dreamed of beating it, but the little handheld version she had wasn't quite the equal of the original. So, one day, I'm going to take down the score. And I'm going to do it in her name. I'll put her initials at the top of that scoreboard. S.I.S. 3.5 million points by Percival James Sinclair. Earned in honor of Stella Isabel Sinclair. I know that on that day, somewhere she'll be smiling at me and saying, "Good show, Percy. Good show."
So that is the story. I can't help but smile at the ending. Well, on the day you beat the score for her, event manager Raven will be there to cheer you on. Thank you, love. It's appreciated. Two of us make our way back to the mini Funplex. Time to resume gaming, me to catch up with Teo and Ashley again. My current status, sitting and enjoying it. Took a few minutes of searching and stalking. Eventually found an open seat in the pop-up arcade. Well, the sit is satisfying, the rest of everything else is miserable. My feet are sore from walking all over, and I don't remember the last time I ate. I feel dehydrated, and I have a slight headache from all the noise. And there are still 4 more hours of max left. Oh, if Gavin saw me in my current state, leaning back, arms at my side, completely exhausted, I can picture it clearly. He'd be looming over me with his dark, unfettered eyes. He would lean in close and frown, grumbling. He'd say, "Raven, may I remind you, these seats are for patrons only." I audibly sighed just thinking about it. As luck would have it, though, Gavin and Naomi are huddled over the Galaga cabinet, trying to figure out why the monitor's not working. Freedom. My buns are experiencing the best freedom has to offer. Well, my body feels like it collapsed at any moment. I feel good about it. Right? Getting the word out about Funplex Rising was great. Seeing people's faces light up with excitement is why I'm really here. Plus, spending time with Ashley was an added bonus. I certainly got passion to spare. I smiled to myself. The pain in my heels and the grumbling in my tummy. Worth it. While enjoying the respite, I let my eyes close for a moment. Of course, the second I do, I hear footfalls closing in. There you are, Raven. We've been looking all over for you. But we were specifically going to meet back up here at the Funplex pop-up arcade. Yes, but we didn't expect you to be tucked in the darkest corner of the arcade. I'm hiding from Gavin. He'll put me to work if he sees me. Hiding behind the pinball machines is probably not the smartest choice then. You know how much he loves pinball. Every spare moment he thinks no one is watching him is spent getting that high score. I have so many candid pictures on my phone of him playing pinball. You have to show me, like, right now. Haha, yes. Concentration face is so cute. Before I can even react, Ashley has her phone out and is scrolling through pictures of Gavin. Ahem. Must look up at me guiltily. Don't we have more important matters? Max is over in a few hours and we will have a lot of work left to do. You're right, Raven. Please don't tell Gavin. Your secret is safe with me. Right, so business time. I think I got something. Go on. I have a friend and she's an indie arcade developer. The new title she's been working on is amazing. It's got co-op, it's got competition, it's got magical schoolgirls. Now you're talking. It's got it all. Wait, I'm pretty sure I've heard of this game. Is it called Magical Moon Cuties? Yeah, that's the one. She's thinking about premiering it at Funplex Rising.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh. It would be cooler than cool. Sounds interesting enough. Might make for another fun game for people to play. Definitely. My friend is somewhat renowned in the indie scene. The game's been in development for years. I'm sure it would create some buzz at least. Are you kidding? Teo, we'd be the talk of the arcade world. I do like being the talk of world-sized things. Let's go check it out. I stand up invigorated by the news. I start walking back towards the hall with Teo. I hear a call from behind me. Wait! I turn around and see Ashley standing there fidgeting. Her green eyes are darting back and forth nervously. Ashley? I too have a plan. She motions for us to come back towards her, which we do.
Huh?
What's your idea, Ashley? She puts an arm around Teo and the other one around me, huddling the three of us together. So what I'm proposing might not be the most legal course of action. Do I even want to know? You've seen them huge monitors hanging from the ceiling in the middle of the major halls, right? How could I miss them? They're constantly bombarding us with ads and false hopes of high-quality convention food. No matter how amazingly tempting that $9 hot dog looks on the big screen, don't even think about it. Exactly my point. Everybody is looking at it. I know a way to break into the back area. All we have to do is break into the main communication center and upload the flyer Raven made into the rotation.
Whoa!
You want to do what? Shh. Keep your voice down, Teo. Unless you want to get arrested for being an accomplice. It's a genius plan. Everyone at Max will see our name up in lights. Okay, so yeah, that's a less than legal way of getting the word out, but I have to admit, you got me intrigued, and it definitely worked, but I don't know. Trust me.
What about...
Of course, we need to go in disguise. I'm already nicely disguised, but Raven would need to switch into something way more distracting. Why more distracting, exactly? Distract from your face, of course. I mean, it's a very good face. Why would anybody want to be distracted from it? I know I certainly wouldn't. What I'm trying to say is people will remember the costume, not the person wearing it. Which means, Maid Raven rides again. I knew it. Come on, you did so great on stage. Think of this as your encore. How about it? Let's not forget about magical moon cuties. It's a valid alternative. Both options are valid, honestly. Splashy advertising would certainly drive foot traffic, even if getting it up there would be dodgy. Importantly, Iris could help us do it safely without anyone noticing, safer than Ashley going off on her own to try this inadvisable stunt. But a highly anticipated indie title might do the trick, and result in far less jail time. Teo, let's go check out Magical Moon Cuties. Ashley, you got this. You don't need any help from me. Honestly, I don't feel like getting carted off to jail today. It's on my scheduled agenda. Plus, I'm pretty sure Ashley could handle breaking and entering all by herself. And yes, I do realize how wrong that sounds, even in my own head. But you've seen plenty of heist anime. So much that you can sneak in the Natural History Museum and steal the world's biggest Fabergé egg in the middle of the day. I got like 12 bobby pins holding this wig on. I won't let you down. I know you won't, and please, try to be careful. Ashley smiles widely before prancing off into a crowd of arcade folk. You can stop worrying, Raven. Ashley knows exactly what she's doing. That's why I'm worried. Fair enough. Well, we should go see a lady about an indie game? Well, shall we go see a lady about an indie game? We shall. As we left the pop-up and traveled deep into the halls of Max, people kept stopping us to say hello to Teo. We'd be happily on our merry little way and then get interrupted by a random person. Oh man, it's Teo! How are you doing? Great, but hey, we are on our way to meet with someone. Let's catch up later. Cool, laters. And this happened every couple minutes. Walking through the convention floor was like walking through a field of landmines. Where instead of explosions, it was uncomfortable introductions to people I will probably never see again. Eventually, Teo leads me back to a section of arcade games hidden behind all the major companies' booths, near where he held his dance flash mob. Where they set up is mostly reminiscent of the rest of Max. Arcade cabinets are slightly lined up side by side, making several aisles for gamers to aimlessly wander down. I would expect it to be more used to pushing my way through throngs of crowds by now, but nope. Teo and I force our way through huddled masses of chittering conversations. As I look around at all the different arcade games that surround us, I notice something's off. There's exactly 0 titles that I actually recognize. No Dig Dug, Gauntlet, nor Street Fighter. Not even a hint of pinball. I'm starting to get concerned. Teo, where in Max are we? This is the Indie Mega Arcade. Well, originally called it the Indie Mega Arcade Expo. But then IMAX sued them. The what? That didn't explain anything to me. What are all these weird games? I understand nothing. If you'll hush those alluring lips of yours for a second, I'd be more than happy to explain. Oh, Teo, I believe the best way to hush my lips is with yours. Which is exactly what I wish I was brave enough to say. But instead, the sloppy words that fell from my mouth were, okay, I'm hushing now, totally and completely hushed. Thanks, love. Now, where was I? Ah, yes, the Indie Mega Arcade is a huge area of Max that showcases all the new up-and-coming indie arcade games. Indie developers get a chance to show off their stuff, get useful feedback, and maybe get a few people interested in their game along the way. It's a dream of the indie dev, to make a game that people enjoy playing. I really don't know much about the indie arcade scene, admittedly. Working at the Funplex offers me a crash course in arcade culture. Every day I'm learning about completely new aspects. It does make perfect sense to have an indie game scene. I just never realized it existed. It's pretty amazing, actually. Community people who share ideas and a passion, Can't afford mass production runs of games, but they've got a lot of heart, you know? They can't crank out a box for every arcade on Earth, but indie developers are free to make whatever type of game they want. No pressure from a big-name company, either. Complete and utter creative freedom. Really, anybody can make a game if you put your mind to it. In fact, I bet even you, Raven, could make an arcade game. What say you? Don't we have other things to focus on right now? I can't deny that I can't deny that when I was younger, I often wondered about making my own games. But let's be real here. I don't have time for that now. Diving headfirst into creative never would be interesting, but I'll leave that to the professionals. Right now, I'm focused on Funplex Rising. Starting another project on top of that wouldn't make much sense. Dreams aren't supposed to make sense. You just feel them. So follow me on a dream. What game would you make? Fine, I'll play along, but only to indulge you. I would make... I don't know exactly how a romance arcade game would work, but I'm all about creating new genres. I was thinking some sort of game where you can date romance people. Yes! Also, it takes place in an arcade. A game about arcade romance in an arcade. Yes! Really, the core of the game would take an in-depth look at all the different aspects of arcade communities and how they function and interact with each other. Yes, a bit slow for a coin-op arcade game, but also plenty of kitching and touching butts. Okay. Okay, now you are speaking my language, which is the language of love. Too easy. I like it.
All right.
Well, if you ever get super bored of being an arcade event manager, I can hook you up with all the proper people to launch your second career. What do you mean? Oh, I have some friends who make arcade games for a living. Some friends? As soon as I said it, I became overtly aware of the situation. So we stepped foot in the Indie Mega Arcade. People have been waving and nodding to Teo, not to mention all those people stopping us in the way to get over here. I'd say more than some friends. You're a popular guy.
Come on, that's silly.
He waves his hand, waving off the very notion that I know to be true. Everyone knows who he is, and I had no idea. Teo's always been such a crowd pleaser at Showtime stage, but I guess his popularity spread to all facets of his life. Dance champion and indie arcade scene champion, huh?
I try to keep my friends' circles pretty separate. Sometimes it's not always perfect, and they tend to overlap. You know, like a Max.
Ah, he's blushing.
But hey, it's got upsides. All my friends are here. The biggest downside of Max is just so hard to see everyone. I never get to spend enough time with them, you know? I got friends here in the Indie Mega Arcade. I got my Funplex crew. I got the dancing community. I just can't see them all. And when I can't see them, I feel like I let them down. I hate having to choose between them. Once again, I've failed my friends. You know, it's a surprise anyone still talks to me anymore.
Teo sighs heavily. His mood shifted from excitement to utter solace. The cool, collected Teo is showing a side I've not seen yet. I guess he's able to experience emotion other than joy. Confirmed, Teo is not a joy robot. But this isn't right. Said Teo is worse Teo. As his friend, I must fix this. You can't please everyone, Teo. Teo puts too much pressure on himself. With the amount of people he knows, it's physically impossible to see everyone. There's literally no way you can meet and hang out with every single person you know. If you'd given 15 minutes to the amount of people I've seen you say hello to, it would take an entire day to get through them. You exaggerate. Teo, if there's one thing you can be sure of, it's that Raven doesn't exaggerate. I only observe and state the objective facts. Usually. It's tough only seeing the people you care about every once in a while, but you've been doing a great job. I've seen so many of your friends stop and say hello to you, plus they completely understand when you told them you were busy. Not one left without a smile on their face. They really care about you. You know what, Raven? You're right. The more I hang out with Teo, the more I learn about him. It's always something new and something unexpected. And the more I want to get to know him. Let's bring this back around to why we're here. How did you get involved in the indie arcade scene anyway? Through Michelle, the indie developer I want you to meet. I met her a few years ago at a previous Max. I was hanging out with my crew near the dancing games. She stopped by to play around. Since she was new to the scene, I struck up a conversation with her. Much like when I met you. Ah, so there's plenty of flirting then? I cannot help myself when surrounded by such beautiful, wonderful people. But you, Raven, are by far the most incredible person to waltz into my life. I'm a puddle. I just melted to the Max show floor. Somebody please call Life Alert. I've fallen and I can't get up. Must regain composure. And Michelle makes indie arcade games? She's only one of the coolest and most prolific arcade developers in the industry today. She's worked on several big-name indie games, and when she's not working, she's speaking all over the world about arcade development. Calling me impressed. Sounds like Michelle is the sort of influential person who could really help with Funplex Rising. She really is. I'm what now, Mateo Alvarez? Oh, Michelle, only the worst person I've ever met. As to be expected from somebody of your caliber. Touché. I was just looking for you, by the way. Well, I'm glad I found you then. What's on your mind? I wanted to introduce you to Raven. Nice to meet you. The pleasure is mine. Took me a second. Michelle totally looks like, uh-oh. You aren't perchance also a federal agent? Sit, I'm doomed. It was a setup. I'm about to be renditioned to a CIA black site. Who? Me? No way. Although my sister, well, I can neither confirm nor deny what she does for a living. Okay, I see that makes sense. Gotcha. I'm gonna shut up now and focus on our arcade stuffs. I think what Raven is trying to say is that you seem to have a very confident and authoritative expression. That's all. Yep, that's exactly what I meant. Got it on the nose. Thanks, Teo. Sure, okay, let's go with that. Anyway, I spoke with Teo earlier in the day, and he told me you had a business proposition. Consider me all ears. Allow me to elaborate. Raven here was recently appointed as the event manager for the Funplex. Congrats! It's a cute little mom-and-pop place where Teo gets his groove on, right? I would categorize it as more like a grandma and grandpa kind of arcade. It's not the fanciest one out there, but it's got heart. I like an arcade with a good heart. It reminds me of my youth. The good old days when you walk into your home away from home, clutter up and enjoy the company. But I digress, getting too swept up in the memories. Tell me more about the proposal. Raven is putting on a special event at the Funplex called Funplex Rising. It's a celebration of the arcade scene. Oh, I will. We're gonna have high score competitions, esports stuff, mystery game reveals, the works. I'm going all out on it. And Teo, I take it you're doing a dance event as well? He is, but it'd be great if we could add one more thing to the list. Maybe the premiere of a new indie game? Like gas, could you possibly mean my game, Magical Moon Cuties? If you'll allow us the honors. Have I given you the elevator pitch yet? All I know is they're magical schoolgirls and I'm intrigued. It's a competitive, cooperative puzzle game where people have to work together to match all the magical orbs before their opponents can. Think 3-player magical drop, but with combo attacks. Everyone plays as an adorable magical schoolgirl, hence the cuties part. That sounds better than the last time I heard it. Right? I'm pretty excited to share Magical Moon Cuties to the world. I've mostly been doing some very selective demos for media outlets today, but so far the general public hasn't been allowed to play it. I'm looking for the perfect place and time to release it. Big publicity would mean I might land a manufacturing contractor or a publisher, but so I could do a wide release. Funplex Rising might be a good choice for that, but I'm going to need a little more convincing. What else you got? Okay, Raven, don't blow this. Connections seem to be very important in the indie arcade scene, and Michelle already knows Teo, therefore. Friends help each other out, do they not? Teo's known you for a few years now, and he's said nothing but good things about you. In fact, he's been talking up storm about Magical Moon Cuties and getting everyone excited. It's only fair to support him back. He keeps a solid business relationship rolling alongside a solid friendship. Everybody wins. Friends are the most important, and Teo's one of the best. Plus, I really want to play Magical Moon Cuties too. Ha, fair enough. I was just asking you anyway. After I discussed it with Teo, I already knew I was going to show up Magical Moon Cuties at the Funplex. Love that enthusiasm, though. Really? Really, I mean, it's either the Funplex or Deco's Palace, and while Deco is the heavyweight champion of the arcade world, it's not a good fit for my dreams. Great, so it's settled? I think so. I know so. Magical Moon Cuties will have its first playable showing to the public at Funplex Rising. I'll haul my prototype cabinet over to your arcade the day before so you can get it set up. I'd appreciate you keeping it hidden until the event, though. Already bought a mystery concealing tarp for our rare game release. Heck, what's one more mystery concealing tarp between friends? This will be an event to remember, and I'm thrilled. I can't wait to share the news with everyone. Raven, thanks for the support. I really appreciated it. Oh, but I really should be thanking you. Sorry to cut this convo off. Michelle, your next interview is here. It's Mark from Hexagon. Mark, Hexagon, got it. Ugh, it's so hard to keep track of all these different media outlets. Raven, it's been great. My people will call your people, or whatever they do these days. Oh, expect your social media to explode later today. Ta-ta! In a flash, Michelle wandered back into a crowd of people, her friend leading her to the next interview, leaving me standing in shock, unable to believe what had happened. A top indie designer premiering at my event. I imagined the adorable smiling faces of anime magical schoolgirls. I could practically hear them cheering me on. I knew everything would be okay. This is my life?
Huh?
Oh, nothing, just musing to myself. Out loud nonetheless. No worries, I do that all the time. Mostly when I'm alone, though.
Love it.
But overall, that went really well. I'm glad that Michelle was really excited to bring her game to the Funplex. Me too. Honestly, I feel like a weight's been lifted off my shoulders. But with Ashley helping me with the hype of the cosplay contest, I feel like Funplex Rising is going to be amazing. That's the spirit. I never doubted you for a second. I was about to reply with the totally witty retort about doubting in time. However, we were interrupted by the sounds of a bell chime. The hall will be closing in 30 minutes. It's over already? And I was just getting started. I'd barely seen everything yet. Barely seen anything yet. I could do this for at least another 4 hours. I'm frightened and confused as you still have so much energy left, Teo. I amaze even myself sometimes. As for me, I was exhausted, allowing yawns to escape my mouth. While I'm officially pooped and ready to go home, I still wanted to squeeze in a couple more games before the hall closes. They're going to have to drag you out of this hall once it closes, aren't they? Kicking and screaming. Thanks for your help with Funplex Rising today. That's what friends are for. I'm glad to have you as a friend. Ditto. See you back at the arcade, Raven. With our pleasantries exchanged, I left Teo to finish the dying seconds of Max in the Indie Mega Arcade. All in all, a successful day. Beep beep. Raven, you have a new text message. Operation Hot Dog Takedown mission complete. Asset extracted and heading home for a leisurely bath and some anime. Huh? She hacked the video signs and snuck away. Look at the screens. Our flyers airing there now. Wow, I didn't know Ashley was a hacker. Maybe we should swap tips. I'd like the Funplex to commit fewer felonies rather than more, Iris. Ah, okay. Right, time to head home. I promised I would meet Juniper just outside the main exit of the hall, and that's exactly where I was headed. The rush of fresh air hit me as I pushed the double glass doors open. It was nice, refreshing, and had a much better smell than the one I had been around all day. I didn't have to wait long until I saw Juniper. She bounced happily up to me. So, how was your first Max, Raven? It was. One thing is for sure, I'll never forget what happened today. I made so many memories, some good, some less than good, all burned deep inside my medial temporal lobe. I'll never fail to remember this day. As to be expected with a convention. Although in your case, you really outdid yourself and got smacked to 300% of what anyone else would have done, yeah? How do you figure? Well, most people drop by Max, play some games, maybe attend a panel or two, do some shopping. They're here to be catered to. You, on the other hand, were doing the catering. And like any good caterer, that means spinning plates and doing 12 different things at once. You found interesting ways to push Funplex Rising and promote the Funplex as a whole. You worked your butt off to do it. So rather than attending Max, you were Max. Sure feels that way. I'm totally drained.
Ooh.
I kinda envy you, you know. It sounds like you had some great adventures today, other than designing that flyer. I didn't do much beyond playing a few games and buying cute t-shirts and stuff. But let me tell you, they were really cute t-shirts. I'm glad I could support you, though, even if it was just by, you know, doodling up a flyer. It's hardly a doodle. You did great work designing it. Hey, don't sell yourself short. That flyer looks super professional. I mean, no fun Comic Sans, but still pretty cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Raven. I really enjoy doing stuff like that. I don't exactly get a lot of opportunities at the office to express myself. Okay, let's get home and get some real rest. We both earned it. In fact, I'd say we took it, Juniper don't, to the max. Ah, hee. After that moment, the rest of the evening was a blur. I knew that Juniper and I took the train back home. He did up some pizza bagels, and I safely made it into my comfy bed. I think I was still in shock. At the beginning of this day, I thought that no one was going to know about Funplex Rising. We'd be stuck as a relatively unknown mom-and-pop arcade. But now it seems like the whole world knows, which is great, but also pretty nerve-wracking. I sighed heavily, letting all my mixed emotions flow over me. There was no turning back now. What I said in motion will stay in motion. It can only get bigger and better from here. At least that's what I'm going to keep telling myself as I drift to sleep. I'm proud of what I accomplished today, and I can't wait to tell everyone at the Funplex about all I've done. I hope they are proud of me too. Before I know it, Funplex Rising will be upon us. You've cleared level 3 of Arcade Spirits. A winner is you. Now let's see your score. Looks like you and Ashley are having some good times. Proving to be level-headed, rational, and honest. Great. Also, you've scored 11,200 points. Go for the high score. Actually, I don't know what the high score is, but hey, go for it anyway. Do you want to save your game before proceeding to level 4? Okay, I think we're gonna leave things here for the moment. I know this is a shorter episode, but I think it'll be fine if I just leave it here. If you're enjoying the series, if you enjoy the game, if you want to talk about who you've romanced, your favorite romance, whatever, leave a comment maybe. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye!